Happy Independence Day to all of our listeners, and welcome back to this week's episode of Coaches and Coffee. Good morning, Wizard and Professor.
Howdy.
I got a question.
Well, we're waiting.
Well, so when I listen to the podcast over again, mostly just because I like to hear myself talk, and we get the whole intro, right? Like we've talked about this. Bob Seger comes on, plays his intro music, and then you say welcome, and we get everything, right? And it's great. And then we talk for 45 useless minutes. And then, here it is again. I'm talking about this for the third freaking time. Wizard always has some sign-off that gets cut off. And then you tell us it's the technology. How come it works at the start, but it doesn't work at the end?
Listen, I can't answer all the questions on this podcast.
Well, we get 30 seconds of brilliance out of the Wizard for his monologue.
Yes.
And then we get shit for the rest of the episode. And then he always leaves us with something amazing at the end. And you cut off Wizard's 38 seconds he gets, and you cut off 8 seconds of it.
Okay, you know what? We're going to let this thing run today for 10 extra minutes, and we'll decide if we need to edit the rest of it at the end.
So that means I'm shutting my phone off because you know my mouth. I can't keep the expletives out of it. So
I know once we think the podcast is over, we're in trouble, Wizard.
Just sign off.
Yeah, I think the people would really be entertained with some of our after podcast conversation that keeps going anyways. But
I was thinking about since the Wizard and I haven't coached for a long time, and we always watch your games together. Like the Wizard and I don't watch them in the same room. It's not like you and Megan sharing the gum. I mean, you and Kelly sharing the gum stick at the start. But the Wizard and I watch individually, and then we text back and forth while your games are going on.
Oh, I know.
And I was thinking one of our podcasts could just be us reliving the 155, I think that's our record, 155 text messages back and forth during your game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have my phone on during games anyways, but when I do turn it on after games, it's like, a fireworks display going off with all the dings from you knuckleheads.
Corrective actions is what it is.
Yes.
I think you ought to have it on during games because you might learn something from what the two of us are texting you.
Yeah, adjustments.
Listen, it's overwhelming to coach anyways, so I can't be having suggestions coming from the bleacher creatures.
We're not bleacher creatures.
No,
we're the coaching brethren.
You are absolutely. There was no offense meant with that. You guys have been good to me, and supportive, even though you don't agree with everything I do, but who does? So it's all good.
If there's one thing you can say about us is we are two of the biggest athletic supporters ever.
Yes.
Not in size, but yes.
So both sides, left and right.
Yeah. Good and evil. No, that wouldn't work either with you guys. So, all right. Well,
what are we talking about today?
We're going to throw it to, now that we've answered your question, hopefully, and maybe we'll get it right today at the end of the podcast because the sign off wisdom is, exceptional. So, we're going to throw it to the Wizard to kick us off this morning.
So I had an interesting conversation with one of the young men that work with me. In my new profession, I'm able to be around teenagers who are still in school and pass on some great knowledge. But I asked one of them, I said, "Do you know who the Fonz is?" And he looked at me with the googly-eyed look, and he's like, "No, who's that?" And I said, "You've never seen Happy Days?" And he said, "No." And I said, "And all this foolishness that you listen to on your phone, be it YouTube," and I'm as guilty as the rest, but I said to him, "Have you ever seen the Waltons?" And he, again, same look on his face. And I thought back, Little House on the Prairie, the Waltons, Happy Days, the wholesome TV from the 70s. What have we become? We don't even watch those old programs anymore. And I think it would give some of the kids some great, I guess, background and insight into the days of our past if they watch some of those things. So I'm going to challenge all of the younger listeners, get better, watch some of these programs.
Now, this isn't my monologue, but I want to follow up on that with the Wizard, especially the two of us, because we give Mags a hard time all the time about not knowing anything about the past. Mags is like stuck in 2008 on, or whenever it was he started coaching, maybe 2005. When did you start coaching? 3?
Varsity 05, started coaching in 01.
So essentially, Mags's life started in 01. So like we make movie references and stuff.
Y2K. Y2K.
Yeah, all of you people, including Mags, like when the Wizard makes some reference, just at least go Google search it and check it out. I mean, he says the Happy Days, and I immediately got the thumb up, and I'm going, hey, yeah, just do it. We make great references that go over everybody's heads, and if you don't understand it, I remember in high school everybody always saying, oh, if you don't understand the word, go look it up. Well, just go look it up. It only takes 15 or 20 seconds. And then it'll give you a good idea as to why the Wizard likes Happy Days and not Euphoria. Two very different shows at two very different times with two very different premises. That wasn't even my monologue. I'm going to have to rush through my monologue now. Mags, do I have permission to keep going?
You keep going.
Okay. I give Mags a hard time about these monologue time, and I'm already at like 2.5 minutes and haven't even started it. Mine's Happy 4th of July. This is also a day that we're supposed to celebrate America, but I'm going to talk about sports that aren't necessarily American sports. It's really cool to watch the World Cup. I don't love soccer, but it's awesome to see all of these fans screaming and cheering for their team. And it reminds me of what the Olympics are and why we're all like joyful for sport. Today, the Tour de France starts, and another one of those sports that's a little bit boring, but it's hilarious to watch a little bit here and there. And then I get caught up and watch the whole thing. And another one of these sports where thousands of people come out and celebrate it. And I think today we might talk about people coming to celebrate New Hampshire high school sports and why it's all screwed up. So get an opportunity to go out and watch some of these other sports that bring people together.
You're here.
Yeah, the sport you apparently forgot was the hot dog eating contest today. I'm sure more people come and watch that, at times than high school sports in general. But
are we going to do a goat debate on the greatest hot dog eater of all?
No, gosh. Well, I mean, if you guys pick that as the debate, I guess we could, but no, not necessarily interested. Yeah, today's society too much into reality TV there, Wizard. So I did watch the Happy Days. So yes, couldn't agree more that kids need to expand, and I need to expand my knowledge in movies, which will come some year. I'm not sure which, but
we give you a list. Like you asked us for a list, and I think you probably got through half of one of the movies we gave.
I might have watched 2 of them, and the first one I was like, this is dumb. But anyways, I don't want to criticize your experience with movies. So you hit.
No, wait.
Yeah,
it's about education, right? Like I got to admit, like we give the Wizard a hard time, and we gave you a hard time about these monologues. But last week he gives us this thing about Oregon. Both you and I go out and we Google search it. I learned a ton.
Yeah.
So like take the opportunity to learn from your elders, and that's what I did last week. I mean, the Wizard's a lot older than I am. I learned a lot from him.
Yeah, he's what like 6 months older. Yeah.
He's my elder. I respect that.
Yeah. Well, I respect both of you, and you guys are definitely my elder.
All right. What's your freaking monologue?
Well,
let's go.
You kind of stole it a little bit because I was going to talk about the World Cup, but probably from a different perspective. Yes, it brings everybody together. I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but was it the Norwegian Army group that came to like Boston and drank Boston Dry?
Scottish, I think.
Scottish, yes, that's right. Sorry, yes, drank Boston Dry with the Sam Adams lager, and I forget there was one other. I'm like, that's pretty impressive. So these cities that are hosting and the money that they're making, that's awesome. The one thing that irritates me about the World Cup is we talked about this on one of our podcasts about how soft NBA players can be in this load management. Every time there's a questionable foul, it looks like the guy needs his leg amputated while he's on the ground looking for a call. And then all of a sudden, when the whistle doesn't blow, he's up and ready to go again. And it's like, you take the fun out of it a little bit for us non-soccer people. Like, I've watched the games, but darn it, like, just be a little tougher and play on, as they speak, But we wonder where kids get this from watching this stuff here. And this is the elite athletes in soccer, and that's how they act. So that was my take on the World Cup. I think it's great that it brings everybody together and gives something to cheer for. And the USA is moving on for the first time since I started coaching, basically. So we'll see.
I got a comment on that. 2 comments. Messi, probably the best soccer player, and I don't really follow that much, but I watched a bit of the Argentina game yesterday. He gets tackled constantly, and he's like, air quote, the LeBron James of soccer. He gets up every single time and just keeps playing. And I was like, hey, if the best guy in the world can do it, why can't the rest of you? And second, that little spray that they used to come out and spray the guy's leg with, and they would immediately recover. We all need that in our med bags.
I'm not sure if it's the spray or the mist that they inhale from the spray.
Whatever it is, it's incredible because, like you said, it's like seconds away from like the Joe Theismann injury, the bone coming out of the skin, and then they spray it and they're up and they go another 80 minutes full speed. It's amazing.
Yeah,
we have to get that, Megs. You probably have that at the
no. They don't even know what it is. It's probably just water,
right? Mist.
Yeah, it's probably just like a little hoax. But you mentioned Joe Theismann. That's another thing that young listeners are going to have to go back and look up.
That's why I threw it out there.
Yeah. Yep. And who tackled him?
Oh, I know.
Was it?
Well, don't say it. Let them figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right.
Wait, didn't that happen to what's the more current player, San Francisco quarterback?
Alex Smith.
Well, there you go, listeners. There's another.
He was playing for Washington at the time when he got hurt, and there's some weird stats on it in like the yard line that it happened to Alex Smith, and the time of the game, and something like the score of the game was the exact same as when Joe Theismann got hurt. So same stadium, same everything, same yard line. Pretty weird.
Well, it's like a shift in the Matrix.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's another reference to go look at. Yeah. We're going to have to footnote all of our references so that when the people – that's the problem, though, is that most of the generation – we're like 13 minutes into this thing already. Most of the new generation stopped listening already. So
yeah, that's true. All right, well, this week's topic, we're going to talk about New Hampshire sports. Maybe we'll spend most of the time talking about basketball since that's sort of what we understand the most. But who wants to kick it off?
Well, I'll kick it off because I was the one that thought of the topic because I watch a lot of Maine playoffs because of a coach and I are friends. And
wait, you have friends other than the two of us?
Yeah, I do.
Can we invite them on sometime so they can validate this?
You know what? I'm sure that sometime she probably would come on.
Okay.
I just worry that this is one of those like. Did you guys ever see The Beautiful Mind?
She's a hoot. No, I'll tell you, she's.
Well, then she would increase the length of people listening to this podcast immensely. Then.
So,
I just worry that this is one of those special friends that, like.
Oh, she's not invisible.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So anyway, my question was, how come New Hampshire, who I've been a part of the playoff system for 16 years. I did it, and the thing that bothered me was after we got to a certain point, you didn't know where the hell you were going to end up. I mean, year to year, they could say, well, they're going to Augusta or they're going to Bangor because they play at those arenas. And, it's an awful fun thing to watch on Maine Public Television because they have all of these games right in a row, bang, 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 and they start them in the morning and you don't get done until the night. So, not only entertaining, but you get to see some good basketball. So my question was, why the hell don't we do it in New Hampshire? Just because of the fact that we are seemingly such a mess when it comes to, and I'm speaking of basketball, I don't know really anything else, in how the playoffs are run. So I will pose that question to y'all.
Yeah, and I think Mags is definitely the person to answer this since he's still doing it and on the coaching. He's one of the coaching big deals. He's like on all these committees.
Yeah.
But I spent a bunch of my time before coming over to you guys in Vermont, where the playoffs, the girls or boys, it's what is it? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday night at the Barrie Auditorium for all the divisions except for D1. And then they play all of the finals on Saturday, and the D1s are held up at UVM, and they pack the Barrie Auditorium, and it's a fantastic week. And then the next week it's flip-flops each year, but it's the boys or the girls the following week. You all know where you're going. Barrie is somewhat central. It's a beautiful auditorium. It's old. It's wonderful history. It's made the top 10 list of places to play basketball in the United States. And then I come over to New Hampshire and it's a zoo. Go ahead, Mags. Tell us why we can't fix this. It seems just too easy.
Well, I guess we can point the blame to the two of you, since you guys were literally the last two coaches to coach at a college level where you also played your semifinal game. And the Wizard, knocked us out in the semis. But
I hate the Wizard for that.
Well, yeah, it is what it is, but I'm not sure that we can use this COVID excuse that we used. I mean, the year after you guys, it was a blind draw. Like, we were the 1 seed, and I think our boys were like the 2 maybe, but we were in these little pods where you could play, and then you ended up at, I think it was Plymouth High School, for the girls. Actually the boys and the girls, I think, ended up there. And that was like the beginning of the end for the semis in college arenas. And, it's gone on for 5+ years now. And a bunch of us, as coaches, current coaches, almost 40 in Division 4, wrote a letter to say, how can we fix this? And we referenced the same arenas and places that both Vermont and Maine use, and how they get it right, and how come we can't fix this? Because it's really taken away from the kids. I think the experiences that we all had as coaches at Plymouth State University, not to name drop them, were outstanding. I can always remember telling my teams, like when they went to take the floor in a semifinal game, of how loud it was going to be, but to embrace the moment. They earned that ovation, and it just something that I think kids are missing out on, because only 2 teams now get to experience that at the college. Playing in high school arenas, we were, I would say fortunate and unfortunate at the same time that we didn't have to travel far this year. For the first time, they hosted something in the North Country. And nothing to these other high schools that have hosted, no fault of their own, but they're not big enough. And so you have a semifinal game, you empty the gym, then you got to bring in the next set of fans. And it's just it's too bad because I think the kids deserve better, and I think we could fix it and make it all work. But I don't know what the solution is. So maybe you two, with your experience and knowledge, have a solution.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I think of and thought of was you've been to Manchester and the arena down there. I mean, instead of making these kids travel from one college to another, pick it, do it centrally. Either, I guess we mentioned Southern New Hampshire earlier, one or the other. But again, my question is, other than D1, because I don't know the numbers, I know someone who refs in D1 a lot, and he said you wouldn't believe the amount of people that show up, which I probably would be very surprised. But finals games, obviously they would be less for D4 people there, less for D4 fans. But I know going to Plymouth, the North Country packed Plymouth. I mean, there was no problem looking around the stands and not seeing really any seating room in all of the finals and semifinal games that I took part in there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, New Hampshire, I mean, Vermont's got what, I think the fewest colleges of any state in the country, right? It's close. It's like in the top 3 or 4. New Hampshire's got a bunch of great college gyms that we can use. Dartmouth, Plymouth, Southern New Hampshire, UNH. How about even Colby Sawyer if they're going to start? Oh, and wait, and I want to flip this for 1 second because we keep talking about D4. I sat on the board in Vermont for, I don't know, 13 years. And, we'd always get in these arguments about why everything was in Burlington. It's because where all the D1 schools are and stuff like that. I want to say that our kids play just as hard. Our coaches coach just as hard as D1, D2, D3, and D4 all the way down. All of these kids deserve an opportunity to experience that same thing. So Cass was talking about his officiating friend who wouldn't believe the number of kids. I don't care how many show up. The kids that are playing deserve the opportunity to not have to play their finals game in Berlin. No offense to Berlin, or where was it this last year, Mags?
Oh, our Final Four was at White Mountains.
White Mountain. Great. Awesome. It's at another high school gym. I mean, I grew up in Massachusetts and we played our championship game in the Boston Garden, the old Boston Garden. And like the first 7 rows were filled. Do you think any of us that got to step on the court cared less that there wasn't anybody in the balcony, never mind the 8th row? So let's fix this for these kids who deserve it. And I'm sick and tired of hearing D1, D2, D3, and D4. They're all kids. They're all playing high school basketball, and they all deserve the same opportunity that Vermont and Maine offer.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it seems to be one of the things that we highlighted on in the letter that we wrote is we used to say when the season started, now that I've done this a couple years, we used to say like the goal was to get to Plymouth where anything could happen. And again, I'm just talking for Division 4, but Division 3 used to play their games at Plymouth as well. And now it's to be determined. And it drives me crazy that it says TBD next to where the semifinals are going to be because they have to wait to see who's in the semifinals or could be in the semifinals. And it's a travesty that I think we could definitely fix. And to Professor's point, okay, SNU, I think arena holds like 11,000 people. Probably not going to get 11,000 people for the divisions, but to his point, does it really matter to the kids? The people that want to support the kids are going to show up and
Right.
let it be. That okay, that's the one area, or let's pick another college that these kids can go to. Do you think it would matter to them if they played their games at Dartmouth College? No. And are they going to fill that arena? No. At certain divisions, but well said by both that the kids deserve better. And I don't think we've received a response, to my knowledge, from the basketball committee regarding our thing, other than an online article that basically stated that Division One only has UNH as an option, and they can't host a semifinal. So our whole argument was, semifinals should be at a college venue as well, not just the finals. That 4 teams get a chance to experience it. I think in Maine, and Wizard, you can correct me, it's 8, the quarterfinals and beyond, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so they allow 8 teams, and they do it for a week. For those of you that don't know, go do some research on Maine basketball, and how they run their semis. And they have 3 large arenas that they do it in. I know they're not full, but like we were talking before the podcast a little bit, the games are back to back to back, so you have multiple communities there watching the games, and it's just I don't know. It's an experience that I'm sure the kids never forget, even if they lose in the quarterfinals. But just to be there and be a part of that, and I think we can do better. I don't know if other coaches would speak publicly other than the letter that we signed, but I think we all in New Hampshire think that we could do better, and we got to figure it out because the only ones that are suffering are kids. And last thing I'll say is I hope it's not financially driven.
I was going to ask that, Mags. Is that what this really comes down to? As always, is it about money, or is it just about stupidity at the highest level?
No, I don't. I say I hope it's not about money, but when you use these small schools, I don't even say they're small. Like the regional was a great venue, but
too small.
It's too small for 4 teams because, you got 3 North Country teams. Well, I'm sorry, there was 2 North Country, 2 Southern teams, but you had 4 programs that travel well. And so what fans had to do was, if they wanted to watch both games, they had to pay for 2 tickets because they'd clear the gym and then have to come back in. So when you went to Plymouth back in the day, you got to go watch 2 semifinal games, and like the Wizard said, the North Country traveled extremely well. People that didn't even have teams in the fight, so to speak, but just the North Country support would come down. You'd pay one price, you'd get to watch 2 semifinal games, and you'd go home. And that's like one of the challenges that I see. I mean, the gym was packed for both games, but I know some people watched both games and had to pay twice. Right. And that's what I find is an error in judgment that we could do better, from that standpoint. But I hope that's not the reason that we're using these high school facilities.
And if you want to research the main thing, go to the Maine Principals Association. They are the ones that sponsor it.
And the same thing in Vermont. Go to the VPA. I mean, I can't believe that you and I are pushing the VPA and the Maine Principals Association because they're generally just as corrupt as the NHIAA, but they really do a great job.
Yeah, they do a great job with that.
I got my quick story about our semifinal in Plymouth that year. So it's the 3 of us and Hinsdale. My daughter, I don't remember how old she was. I could probably figure that out, but like 15 or something like that. She's filming my game against Hinsdale. And to the point of like, your teams walk in, right? Like, cause we're the first game and then you guys are the second game, and you guys get to come in and watch the game, and you're a little late, Mags, to get there when my game starts, I think. And my daughter on the video says, "Why is Dale sitting on that side?" And it's such a cool moment on the video because she recognizes that you're there. You're walking in, and so is your fans, filling up the gym even more. And the semifinals, I got to admit, even though that the Wizard and I were in the finals on that, they're just as much fun for the kids.
Absolutely.
Like, get it right, guys, because I have one of my favorite memories is my daughter questioning why you're a traitor.
I'm pretty sure we sat on that same side for all the years that I went down there. I kept
She doesn't know that. She's 15. We're talking about these generations. They don't know shit.
I know, but there was nobody ever sat there, so it was like reserved for us, I think.
Yeah, reserved for Megs, because you're like the king of the freaking NHIAA.
No, I'm not the king, and I don't want to speak about corruption because I have no idea. Your statement about the organizations being corrupt. I get it. They're probably driven by the highest divisions, but as you said earlier, it doesn't matter what division these kids or coaches are participating in. They put in the same amount of time, the same amount of effort. And I would even question Division 4. We do have the longest season of any division in the state because when we start compared to other divisions. So our kids even put in more time. So
Was
look at
you
that.
going to comment there before I jump back in here?
Go.
Oh, I wanted to give the Wizard his opportunity. I just wanted to say, can you tell which of the three of us are still an active coach? I tried manipulating him into the
Yeah,
corruption and all
well,
that.
to make it, yes, because he had to dress it down to make it politically correct, so that
He's just scared to death the NHIA is going to come down on him. And I'm like,
the
screw
glad
them. I
handing.
can't stand them. I can't stand anybody in that organization. A signer. They're all corrupt.
We
You
could.
can admit it, Mags. It's okay.
No, I'm not taking that bait. Not in a million years. Because I've always been one that it's tough for me to understand what they do if I've never sat on it. Now, you speaking from being on a basketball committee, I've never been on a basketball committee. And you probably saw some of the things that you're basing your statements on. I can't say the same. So, but I think we can do a better job of fixing this for the kids. So
Absolutely.
I will say that.
I want to mention one thing about corruption since I have an open mic, and I hope the VPA answers this. Back in the day, we used to sell T-shirts at the Barry Auditorium to raise some money for all we do with our profit. All we do is give scholarships to kids for college, right? That's all we do. And with the Vermont Basketball Coaching Association. And the VPA decided that they were going to tack $5 onto every T-shirt for profit for them. And of course, when you take a $10 T-shirt and you make it 15, or nowadays a $15 T-shirt and make it 20, you sell a lot less. So our scholarships went down drastically. Why? For the sake of $1 for the VPA. Drives me insane how corrupt these organizations that are supposed to be doing things for kids do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, especially I'm sure they were probably 501(c)(3). So
correct, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, my rant on. Just let's do what's right for the kids, man. Can we just do that?
Sometimes I think but I think the kids are overlooked, and it's just about getting the games in and saying that everybody, got an experience. At least the finals are still at a college venue, but yeah, I think any division, the semifinals are a special time. The experiences that we've had, we can speak to. Maybe Plymouth will never be an option again. But it's too bad because the environment was unlike any other in New Hampshire. But from my days as a fan, going to the Barry Auditorium, it reminded me a lot of that. So.
Right.
All right. Well, we only had that one topic, which was outstanding because we can't handle more than one and try to keep it within a time frame that's adequate for our listening generation. So we're going to move into the GOAT debate, which was my week to pick. And I initially posed the top three, obviously with a number one, NFL or NBA draft bust of all time, and within seconds, the professor threw two names out from the same draft about the NBA. So we said, no, we're going to go with the NFL. So we have to think a little more. So I'm going to kick it off because it is. Oh, do you want to go first, Wizard?
No, you go ahead. You've already called it.
You're supposed to wrap it up.
Okay, all right, we're going to the Wizard.
No, piss on that. You go first.
Oh, okay. Well, don't say I didn't give you an opportunity. I'm not going to pick your number one, I'm sure, because I actually did do some research on this.
So, you almost hurt my feelings.
Wow, man, it's hurtful this morning, Happy Independence Day to you too. All right. So my top three were or are Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, and Achilles Smith. And my number one is Achilles Smith. And I'm only saying this because when I was doing my, extensive research, I didn't know the story behind Cincinnati in that draft. They were offered 9 draft picks by Mike Ditka in the New Orleans Saints because he really wanted Ricky Williams, and he still got Ricky Williams in that draft. But
Yeah.
they offered, I think it was 6 picks in that draft, 2 future first rounds and a second round, and they turned it down because he was the cat's meow, supposedly. Well, he went 3-14 in the 17 games he played, started in the NFL, I should say. And his TD to interception ratio was 5-13. So Cincinnati was a joke for a number of years after they lost to the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And knowing this that I didn't know before doing this research, I kind of can see why if you think one person's better than potentially 9. So Achilles Smith was my pick.
Okay. That's a good one.
Thank you. Trying to make up for bashing me before that, but that's okay.
No. Piss up a rope, man. So
there's another reference.
I'm going to utilize mine. I'm not going to do a bunch of top whatever, all that crap, because I know all those people. I mean, being a Steelers fan, I always look back to Huey Richardson, Tim Worley, and all these just bad first round picks, Kenny Pickett. But my greatest of all time, his major claim to fame is basically being a doormat for Bo Jackson on his way to the end zone and getting curb stomped by him. My greatest of all time bust is Brian Bosworth.
That's a good pick.
Yes.
And the reason being is I watched him when he played at Oklahoma. I'm not saying whether he was chemically enhanced in any way, but he was an absolute beast at Oklahoma, and they made a point to make a big story on him in Sports Illustrated. And he came into the NFL where he had to play with men and not boys, and he got his ass handed to him. So thank you, Bo Jackson, for basically ending his career and sending him to whatever the name of that stupid movie he was in.
I forgot all about that movie.
You don't even know you don't know a movie?
Oh, it was so stupid though.
The name of the movie was Stone.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
My greatest of all time is Brian Bosworth.
Oh man, this I swear to you listeners, all 8 of you, that because we're up to 8 like now, that this was not talked about beforehand. My number 3 is Bosworth. My number 2 of all time is Bo Jackson, and here's why. He was drafted first overall in 1986 by the Buccaneers, and he never played a game for the Bucs. He decided to play baseball instead. Yeah. So probably the biggest loss ever. And then my number 1 pick, in honor of the shit that was given to poor Mags last week or 2 weeks ago in the monologue, my number 1 pick is Tony Eason by the Patriots. And the reason that kills me is because the quarterback that Mags is going to pick for the greatest quarterback of all time was still available. Dan Marino was still available, and the Patriots take Tony Eason. Biggest draft bust ever for me. Pretty good to incorporate you guys in all of my picks without having a conversation about it.
There you go.
Yeah, well, wouldn't expect anything less from you. That's the type of professional that you are.
Nobody picked Johnny Manziel either.
Nope. No, that's the joke there too. But
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good draft busts. Go Google search that for you guys in generations, and it goes beyond just the last 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there was a time frame. I think we all talked about people before 2000, so that means anybody, over 25 or 25 or younger have no idea what we're talking about. So,
Right.
I
Right.
like that generally we shit on parents, coaches, not some coaches, definitely officials, and the younger generation, the group of people that listen to podcasts, and we're like, you guys suck.
well, hopefully it puts them in a rage to want to keep listening to see, what we're saying, and then maybe they'll continue or start commenting on how awesome we are.
Yeah, I was gonna say it takes them so little time to comment. Like you and I, especially the Wizard and I, on his flip phone, are still like, you got to press the number 3 times to get the letter you want.
Yeah.
Kids these days, they can respond in like a half a second and get 60 words out there. So let's hear it from you, little punks.
I'm not going there.
Well, you started this with your monologue about the younger generation, so we fed off from it today.
Right. Well, anyway.
Well, unfortunately, we did not keep this under 40 minutes, but
How do we do that?
this is just how good we really are, I guess. I guess we're just a bunch of opinionated
Idiots.
Pricks.
pricks. All right. I was going to say dicks, but call us what we are.
My sign off for this week before you cut me off is cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. Happy 4th.
Wow. See it?
Yeah, go look that one up, including you, Megs.
Yep.
And we've talked 10 seconds beyond now, so hopefully his thing's going to be left there. I think, seriously, we're going to know this week, Wizard. I think Mags just goes back in and he's like, screw the Wizard, I'm cutting that off.
No.
Son of a bitch.
I know.
Yeah. If you can't make a reference that I understand, it gets cut.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and in reality, the reference that I made last week of watch your top knot basically is a saying of watch your hair from the mid 1700s, 1800s, when people were scalping people for money. And for all of you that don't know, the Indians weren't the ones that started scalping. They learned it from us when we came over here and scalped Indians to sell their scalps for bounty. So they would say to each other and refer to their hair as watch your top knot. And that was what I was referring to when I did that sign off. And it's also from the movie Jeremiah Johnson. Watch that, Mags. It's a good movie.
Okay. Hopefully it's better than some of the other ones you gave me for choices.
I told you one of them was African Queen, and African Queen is a great movie.
That's the one where they spend the whole movie on the raft, right?
It's not a raft. It's a boat.
It might as well be a raft.
He's getting that confused with Tom Hanks and the Wilson volleyball.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Any other words of wisdom from you, Professor? Now that we've talked.
No, there's nothing more need to be said. We've tortured everybody again long enough on the 4th. Happy Independence Day, everybody.
Yep.
All right. So signing off.